Welcome to this webinar where we will help you to find your competitive edge. And we strongly believe you can do that by harnessing the power of candidate experience and insights in recruitment. So the last of you are joining right now. So once again, a warm welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm Lars. I'm the founder of Start. So for those of you that don't know yet, but last year we merged with Talent Hub. So Start is an Amsterdam-based company and Talent Hub is a Copenhagen-based company. I'm also right now in sunny Copenhagen. And as we say in the Netherlands, we were both too small for the napkin, or too large for the napkin and too small for the tablecloth. We were constantly fighting each other, and we had the same dream and mission to make candidate experience on everyone's mind and to help candidates have a way better experience and help companies hire better. So last year we joined forces. And as you can see, we're already working for many beautiful world-leading brands. And today is to tell you more about candidate experience, the importance of it, but also to show you how Start is working, and hopefully to also show you why it's important to put this on your roadmap if it's not there yet. Oh, yes. So the agenda for today, we have 29 minutes left. I will make sure that we will do everything in time. So we will talk about what is candidate experience and why is it important. The candidate net promoter score as a way to quantify candidate satisfaction. I believe most of you have heard about the net promoter score, often used also in customer satisfaction, and it's also within candidate experience the most important metric to see if you're on the right track. Using Start Candidate Service to automate data collection. The automation part is extremely important because you all have many candidates flowing through your system. Getting the most out of your data with the Start dashboards. That's where we will actually dive into the platform. And we have a couple of success stories, various success stories of our clients from different angles. So there's also some time to ask questions. You can do that also during the webinar. I will also try to answer them at the same time. And otherwise, we can take some questions at the end. So there we go. Why is candidate experience important? It's still very much a candidate market. So as you can see also in the data, 2023 was the year where the global talent shortage was the highest with 77%. So it dropped a little bit, but still it's a candidate market. And I believe we're all in this business to hire the absolute best people, the A players. And the A players, they also demand the best candidate experience. So if there are things not going very well in your candidate experience, if your teams are not aligned, these people will abandon your process, and you won't be able to do the best quality hires. So that's why it's super important to actually measure candidate experience. Because there are actually three great benefits of measuring candidate experience. First of all, improved reputation and employer brand. The first thing new candidates will do is they will go on Glassdoor, they will look at your reputation. And what we see, if you measure candidate experience, before things become a social media wildfire, you are often able to fix any problems that have happened. And secondly, it protects the business for many of our clients, but also for many of you. Your candidate is also your client. And if you offer a terrible candidate experience, it will actually hurt your bottom line. So hopefully that also helps to, if there's no budget yet, to convince the CFO to invest in this. And we have a beautiful case with Vodafone at the end to prove this. Secondly, increased efficiency. Our system is able to show you exactly what's going wrong in candidate experience and how teams can collaborate even closer to have a more efficient process. So excellent team alignment and also shorter time to fill. So, and all of that is leading to an increased offer acceptance rate. So end of the day, end of the quarter, you are able to hit your targets easier. And last but certainly not least, actually, that's what it's all about, is better quality of hire. So what we believe is that candidate experience is not an end goal in itself. It's actually a means to an end goal, and that is to hire the best quality candidates. What if you neglect candidate experience? Well, you can see for yourself. They will never apply to your company again. They will talk to others about it. So it's actually a negative spiral if your candidate experience is lacking. Yeah, CNPS. So what it's all about. So it's Candidate Net Promoter Score. And how the Net Promoter Score works. So it was invented by Bain, a consultancy company, already last millennium. And what they say is actually, because normally you would measure like 1 to 10, and if people will give a 7, you would be like, okay, that's quite nice. We're scoring a 7. And what they are actually saying is that 7 and 8, they are your passives. So also candidates that give your candidate experience a 7. Well, it's not good, it's not bad, but we take them out of the equation because we look at the promoters, so the people that will tell everyone like, okay, this is the best recruitment process I've been in, and your detractors, the people that had a terrible experience. And how you calculate the Net Promoter Score is that you look at the percentage of promoters. So for instance, you have 40% promoters and the percentage detractors, say 20%, and then 40% minus 20%, then your NPS is plus 20. And is your candidate Net Promoter Score good or bad? Yeah, that's actually the million-dollar question, because it really depends on the journey. So the stage the candidates are in. You can envision that if you get hired at your dream company, that's even if maybe the candidate experience wasn't perfect, you will give it a 9 or a 10 because, hey, you just landed your dream job, and yeah, that's eyes on the prize. That's most important to you. So we see for hired candidates in general a super high NPS, and as you can imagine as well, for rejected candidates it will be way lower. So first and foremost, we believe it's important for companies to measure candidate experience. We also know many companies that, for instance, use like a do-it-yourself survey. So they use SurveyMonkey or Google Forms. Well, for most companies, that's actually a good start to get it on the agenda, that people start to get used with data. But the problem is that eventually you will have your scores, but you don't know if you're actually doing good or bad. And as you can see, so the average Net Promoter Score for rejected candidates, it's often negative. So rejected after assessment, this is global. So it's scoring a minus 26. And the big pitfall, if you don't have benchmarks, what can and will happen is that, for instance, your head of TA or management will say, and we should do better. We have an NPS of minus 10 when it comes to assessments. And yeah, if you don't have benchmarks, you don't know if that's good or bad. And in this case, you can say, okay, minus 10 might sound quite negative, but hey, we're actually doing better than the benchmark. So the best tip is to always look at benchmarks as well. Otherwise, it's hard to see if you're heading in the right way. Yeah, define the candidate journey. So every company has more or less the same journey. There are like details that are different, but from your application to your phone screen, not always, but often an assessment, to your interview, and the rejected, the withdrawn, or the hired phase. And super important is also to ask different questions in different parts of the process. Because if you reject me based on my resume, that's a very different candidate experience than if I also have done 5 on-site interview and have done an assessment. So you define the candidate journey, We can also be your trusted partner to help you define the right questions, and you will measure every different touch point. So that's where we come in place is where Start helps is we can really plug into your, I will show it here. We plug into your applicant tracking system. So, and with these systems, we have a so-called no-code or native integration. So there's no help needed from any developer. It's with a couple of clicks, we can get you fully integrated. And from that moment, everything is on autopilot. And we believe integrations are key. One, because otherwise you will forget about it. Maybe you send it once per month. Candidates can't remember what happened a month ago. So we believe that if you integrate, you do a short delay. For instance, after 2-3 days, you ask for feedback. This will means it stays on the agenda. And there can also be no cherry picking. Because if you don't integrate and you already know that a candidate is not super happy, then it's super easy to say, maybe not ask this candidate for feedback, but then you can just can't trust the data. And if that happens, then people will start to lose faith in the data. So integrations are key. Yes, let's show you live. So let me maybe if there are in the meantime already questions in the chat, do let me know. Otherwise, I will share my screen and also show you the system. And feel free to ask questions in the meantime. Yes. So this is the backend of our system. We have various dashboards for various roles. So for instance, if you are a recruiter and you log into our system, you will see exactly your candidate experience. So how you are being the survey results based on the roles you've worked on, and you can also see how you're doing compared to your colleagues. But you won't be able to see exactly to do a one-on-one comparison between your colleagues. So it's more like an internal benchmark, but you can already get a feeling like, hey, I'm actually accelerating there. I'm a bit behind there. So we truly believe in role-based dashboards. And good to know is that we can really mimic your organizational structure. So we work for big companies like Hilton, like Volvo, like Coca-Cola. And also why they decided to work with us is because we can mimic the organizational structure and give people the right access rights. So for instance, if you are the manager of a team, then you have more powers to slice and dice information than if you are a recruiter where you can see your own results. So you can, and that's good to know, because we make such a deep integration with your ATS. We can also work with various filters. So for instance, if you, I'm the manager of a team, and then I want to know, okay, the recruiter, I want to see how recruiter Susie is doing. I click apply, and all the results will be filtered on her candidate experience. Susie is not having the best month of her life, so it seems. So, but just so you know, you can create a filter. You can save the filter to make it super easy. Also to slice and dice the information. One thing we just launched is also that you can schedule a delivery. So what we noticed is that people don't always or actively log into systems, or they forget about it. So you can also say, hey, I want every month the first Monday of the month, or I want the leadership team is having a meeting every Friday. You can schedule a report so that everyone is on the same page. I see a Question in the chat, Simon. What's the usual response rate for candidate surveys? That's actually a great question. I can also show you here, by the way. We have also a benchmark when it comes to response rates. So on average, we see like between 25 and 30%, 30%. So that's already super high. But it also depends on where people are in the journey. So for instance, for this company, well, they have a response rate of 81%, and that's obviously in the high end. So here you can also see like, hey, are we getting enough responses? Because maybe you're not striking the right tone, or you're not sending it to the right people. So that's also something we will show you. Back to the demo. Once again, we have various dashboards. Also being mindful of the time we have together, I will actually show a couple of our dashboards. So yeah, for instance, comments, that's NPS comments. So when we ask the Net Promoter Score, so would you recommend us as a place to apply? We also ask like an open-ended question, what's the main reason? So in this case, someone said awful experience, not informed. So you will get a lot of comments, and this is also like a great source to also dig deeper. So if you see something that really needs attention, you can always click on it. You can see, okay, who was the recruiter, who was the hiring manager, to follow up on it. But we also have a comment analysis where we actually analyze all the comments. So we also know what category the comments are about. So for your hired, rejected, withdrawn, you will see like all the scores. Let me go down a bit. Yeah, I think this is super interesting. You can see your candidate score for every part of the funnel. And for instance, you can also see how long have candidates been in the process and what's doing that to their candidate experience. So you can see that in this demo, which is dummy data. But yeah, if they were longer than 8 weeks in the process, they really hated the whole process. And this is also a great way to optimize and to also set targets for next year. Like, hey, our time in process is now 33 days. We see in the data, if we get it back down to 28 days, people are way more positive about us and our brand. Question from Joanna. In the beginning, you showed a slide on the effects of candidate experience. I believe it said the data was from 2016. Yes, we will make sure that you will get that data, and hopefully there's also a newer, a more recent source. But what we see in general, and also how we work with our clients, is that, and it also makes sense if your candidate experience is better, if your time in process is shorter, your offer acceptance rate will go up. Yeah, I believe this is also a super interesting one. For instance, if in your ATS, there's also a field like what was the source of this candidate? Well, we can also fetch the source and also see, okay, what's the score for every source? So for instance, referrals, those are friends of your colleagues. So if you're delivering a terrible candidate experience to them, it will also hurt actually your employee engagement. So there are various ways to look at the data. This is an interesting one also to see for every department, like, hey, what's the Net Promoter Score for every department? And we've seen some examples where during a town hall or an all hands, these stats were actually presented also on the bigger screen. And also the departments that were doing great, they could also give a presentation like, hey, this is how we approach it. Looking at the data, this is what worked for us. So you always have the carrot and the stick in life. We truly believe also in organizations, if you take the carrot and you praise and give a stage to the recruiters or the departments that are doing great, that it will also help to grow the whole organization. Yes, this is, for instance, a view for the manager of a team, the recruiter performance matrix, where in one view, as a manager, you can see instantly, okay, how are my recruiters doing? You can also see on the dive deeper, like on all the individual questions. And we see that this is great and widely used also for performance reviews, because it's a great way also to help your recruiters grow. And if you really want them to be successful, you focus mostly on this priority matrix, because all the things I've showed you in this demo, it's all about where you are currently at with your candidate experience. So it's telling you, okay, this is where we are right now, where the priority matrix is actually telling you what you should do differently tomorrow to improve candidate experience. Because you can't change everything at once. We appreciate that. And this is really your shopping list to actually go after the low-hanging fruit. So for instance, for this recruiter, assessment feedback. The feedback on the assessment was clear and constructive. And good to mention, this matrix will be based on the questions you ask. So if the smell of the coffee is super important to you and you ask it as a question, that can be one of the priorities. So in this case, assessment feedback, its satisfaction is 5.2. So it's low. It's quite low compared to the rest, but it's highly correlated. It's maybe a bit technical, but to the Net Promoter Score. But let me explain it. So people who said, okay, the feedback I received on the assessment was not great, also said, I wouldn't recommend this company as a place to work. So by looking at every individual survey, analyzing every individual score, we can come up with like your shopping list, like this is what to focus on first. And if recruiters and hiring managers are embracing this priority matrix, what we always see is the next month or the month after, there will be different priorities, but it won't be all in red. So gradually they will grow to the green stage. So that's also a great way to actually help recruiters and hiring managers grow. Any questions when it comes to the insights or the things I've showed for now? Otherwise, I will continue. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen. Yes, that was the let's show you live. So being mindful of time, I promised that I would be done in 7 minutes. I can make it happen, because I would love to show you 3 examples of clients and how measuring candidate experience actually helped them be successful. So this is an interesting case, Deliveroo, because when they opened in new countries, so nobody really knew Deliveroo from the get-go, but so many people were applying, so they thought, okay, even the people we don't hire, they need to have like the best candidate experience, because we have so many candidates. If our candidate experience is terrible, then from the start, the brand perception of Deliveroo will be super negative. So they invested a lot of time and efforts to start already with a strong brand presence. Second example is Immutable. So yeah, they already started with talent acquisition super early, and they did it in a more manual way or do-it-yourself way, which is fine to do. But they found out that it was taking so much time to get the insights, to analyze it. We managed to save 1.5 days per month by automating the data collection. So obviously, if you use software like Start to measure candidate experience, that's often costing you money. But please also look at the opportunity cost of people that if they have to do the manual work, because often it's still better to go for a fully integrated solution with benchmarks. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but trust me on that one. And the last one, and that's my favorite case, actually. That's VodafoneZiggo. That's how they operate in the Netherlands. And their candidate experience wasn't great when we started with them. So they had quite low scores. And they also checked, like, okay, the people we reject, like what percentage is actually canceling their subscription with us. So that was something they could measure. And within 3 months, by really focusing on the low-hanging fruit, we got their Net Promoter Score up significantly. And they did the check again, like, okay, and what's now the percentage of candidates that are canceling their subscription? And within 3 months, you can see for yourself, the difference was already $142,000 in subscriptions that didn't get canceled. So that's also, if you have a hard time maybe to make the business case for additional software, we're also happy to help you build an ROI case. And that can be because you have a more efficient talent acquisition team. But it can also be because your candidate is your client and it's actually hurting your bottom line. So those were actually my slides, and that was my presentation. So I'm not sure if there are still questions in the chat or if we have shared everything. I see also a poll. Yeah, maybe we can look at the poll right now. Are you satisfied with how you collect candidate insights today? 40% not measuring, 60% it's okay, but could be improved. So just know that this was a generic presentation also about the importance of candidate experience, a sneak preview of our product. But if you're curious, like, okay, but how will it look for my brand? I have some more in-depth questions. This was all around candidate experience, but we also measure hiring manager experience. We're doing internal partnerships. So that's recruiters giving feedback to hiring managers giving feedback to recruiters. And something we introduced recently, and maybe one of my personal favorites, is also the quality of hire. So in a nutshell, after 6 months, where you ask the hiring manager, is this still your dream hire? And you ask the new hire, is this still your dream job? And by doing that, we can actually see, hey, have we missed something in the recruitment process? So you can look backwards, but also we can already predict first-year attrition. So we already know, like, okay, in your product team, there are so many mismatches. So first, please bring in HR, see what you can fix. But most likely you will have higher attrition the first year. So maybe proactively already open some roles. Okay, that was it for me. So thank you for joining. We will also send this, or you will get the recording in your email inbox. Marta already shared some of our stuff, like the benchmark report, the integrations report. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And also, if you have any other questions about your candidate experience, we're happy to be your trusted advisor there. Have a great day for now. Thank you.